What's up, everyone? KJ3 here, and it's time for me to finally start talking about soccer again. Just had our first Gold Cup match, came away with the victory in the result 1-0 against Haiti. And this Gold Cup squad is it's not going to be the normal traditional American squad. And let's go ahead before we get into that. Let's start with the result. Of course, we won 1-0, 1-0. Only goal of the match was scored in the 8th minute, came early on. And this is how it happened. Long through ball from Walker Zimmerman to Gaius Zardes. Passed it out wide to Paulo Ariola before he got hurt in the match. And then he crossed it back into the box to Zardes, who one touch flicked it over his head to a wide open Sam Vines, who headed into the box, literally ran underneath it for about 3 yards. Easy goal for us. Only goal of the match. And yeah, we played a Haiti team that literally was out five, where they were without 5 bench players due to positive COVID tests. So let's go ahead and try to get my brother's opinion. Brian, what you think about the match so far? What do you think in our 1-0 victory? And he's not on the phone. That's awesome, man. I love it when that happens. Anyways, what I thought definitely room for improvement. This is our B squad out there. We're not running an A squad at all. I mean, Christian Pulisic, Gio Reyna, Weston McKennie, all the big names are not here. Got you back?
Yep.
All right. So I was just saying, man, we are missing without all of our big names. What did you think of the 1-0 victory that we had in our Gold Cup opener?
Well, it's kind of how I expected this match to go. We don't have any of our A-team players, I mean, we don't have Pulisic, we don't have Reyna, we don't have McKennie, we don't have Adams. And a lot of these guys are trying to make a name for themselves on this team, and quite honestly, they're just not quite as good as the other big-time players. And even our A squad is young, and there's a lot of moments where you watch them and they're just struggling, and that's exactly what we saw today. We had some moments of brilliance, some really nice combinations, some really good attacking chances, and then we had a whole bunch of moments where you're just like, what in the world is going on with these guys out here? So
I thought the
it's
same
always
thing.
good to get 3 points, It's always good to get 3 points, and you're going against an inferior team, but it wasn't impressive, that's for sure. Need a lot of work.
It definitely wasn't impressive. It wasn't clean. I mean, we were watching it, and there were a couple times where we thought we usually should have been up 2-0, 3-0, 4-0. At times it just that the sharpness wasn't there. This is a very young squad, haven't really played together at all. If not for just a week or two, like that's you're going to need more time than that to get the right chemistry going. And man, let's just hope that this team can win the group, get out of the group, because I know we were talking about that earlier. If we don't win the group, then we will be bracketed to face off against a harder team like Mexico or Costa Rica in the quarters or the semis rather than facing them in the final. So it's important. We're down 2 goals in goal differential through one match to Canada, but we still do face Canada in the group coming up. So we still have we still control our own destiny when it comes to winning the group. So that's a good thing. I mean, 3 points is 3 points. So
definitely. Good news is we got to win. We're tied on 3 points. Good news is in our next game, I believe it's Martinique. Yeah, we should beat them too. And
that should be an easy win.
Most likely going to beat Haiti, so it's going to be both teams going into that game on 6 points. And whoever wins it heads up. It doesn't matter what goal differential is, right? You win that match, you win your group, and then you get to play Honduras, I believe it is, if they win their group, which they should. They're in a very easy group. But if you lose it, like you just said, and you finish second place in Group B, which is what we're in, then we have to face Costa Rica, because Costa Rica also is in an easy group. And Costa Rica's been a team that's given us a lot of trouble. I mean, just look over the last 8 years or so, the last 2 World Cup cycles, they give us tough times even when we play them in the United States. So if somehow you get past that game, then you expect you're going to face Mexico in the semifinals. And I'm sorry to tell y'all, this team ain't beating Mexico.
Not after that Nations League victory.
Superstars. So,
and Mexico's got their A team.
We don't get out of the quarters.
Yeah, Mexico's got their A team. We don't want to face them like that. And speaking of Mexico, let's go ahead and hit on the fact that Mexico had a 0-0 0-0 draw to the Trinidad and Tobago, the very country that knocked us out of World Cup elimination those years ago. Oh my goodness. We were watching that and it's just, it was like 30-4 in shot differential, but Mexico just could not get it in the net. Gotta love that as a USA fan. Watching Mexico struggle.
It's always good to see your main rival struggle against a team that they ought to be dominating. And it's even more satisfying when you see them after the game start arguing amongst themselves before they've even left the pitch.
It was a sight to see.
You don't know how badly Mexico was dominating this game. Like, the possession was something like 75-25. The shots were 29-4. And I don't think Trinidad and Tobago even had a single shot on target. Like, the corner differential was like Mexico took 15 or 16 corners. They utterly dominated this match, and they came out with 1 point. So for all the, the USA looked sloppy, and they didn't look good, and, this is not impressive.
Yeah, 3 points is 3 points.
But 3 points is 3 points, man. And Haiti is just about as good or just about as bad as Trinidad and Tobago. They might even be better because Trinidad's really going through some stuff with their own federation right now. It's nasty.
Another case. Yeah.
But it's always good, man, because like you just said, this is the A squad for Mexico. This is their superstars. Minus Chicharito, which I have no idea why their head coach doesn't like Chicharito.
Guy's
There's
amazing.
Some personal things going on there, but my Lord, y'all, they've got everybody. That entire team that we saw in the Nations League, they brought into the Gold Cup. And I don't think there's but don't quote me on this, but I think it was we only have 3 players from that Nations League 18-man squad that is even in this Gold Cup to the United States team. So, yeah, it's nice to be at 3 points and Mexico be at 1 after 1 round.
So I know we talked about the fact that we have our B squad out there. We haven't really hit on the fact that why we have our B squad out there. And if you want to go ahead and take first, because you have the most information, you're mostly the soccer guy when it comes to, this channel. So go ahead and take it away, man. Why is it exactly that we send a B squad out for a major tournament like the Gold Cup?
It's pretty simple, actually. Our best players are playing at some of the best clubs in Europe. And the way the soccer schedule goes is just like everything else in the world, the Americans just have to be different. Our soccer schedules are on different time frames than the rest of the world. And so all of these European clubs are they're coming into their preseasons here at the end of the month and beginning of August, right in the middle of this Gold Cup. And they just played a really, really long season. Some of our players played 70 matches between club and country and all the extra competitions that was going on.
And that's a lot.
And basically, Chelsea, who just won the Champions League, Borussia Dortmund, who finished they finished 4th in their
Bundesliga
league, but they just won their Bundesliga Cup, right?
Yep.
You have RB Leipzig, who finished 2nd in their league, where Tyler Adams plays. Giovanni Reina plays with Borussia Dortmund. Christian Pulisic is on Chelsea. Yunus Musa playing in La Liga. I mean, we have so many players. Serginho Dest is playing with Barcelona. So these
Weston McKennie with Juventus.
Weston McKennie with Juventus. I mean, these enormous, mega super clubs, they wanted all their players to come back for preseason and to rest. They wanted to get them 3 weeks rest. And so the United States worked out a deal with them where they said, look, we want all of our guys to come in for Nations League, but we promise we won't call them up for Gold Cup if you allow them to come in. And so it was a gentleman's handshake agreement where it's like, okay, we're going to let you go back. But it sort of works out to our benefit, right? We won the Nations League, which is great. It was a brand new tournament and had never been played before. And we beat our rival in one of the most epic games ever, not even as a U.S. soccer fan. You listen to people around the world talking about that match, people were blowing up all over social media about how phenomenal that match was to watch. It had everything. That's a different topic.
There are so many different reaction videos on YouTube. If y'all haven't seen that match, please just go ahead and put it in the YouTube search window, because that match was amazing. It had everything.
It was everything you could have possibly asked for in a rivalry match.
And then some.
Oh my gosh, it was awesome. But so anyway, back to the Gold Cup roster, right? So we basically know who our starting 11 is going to be for the World Cup qualifiers coming up in September.
Yep.
So this Gold Cup, this is a backup depth, quality rotation type guys. Because when you go through World Cup qualifying, this year is the first year they're going to go into the 3-match windows instead of the typical 2-match windows that FIFA organizes with. So you're going to be playing 3 matches in a 7, 8, 9 game period.
It's going to be brutal.
I don't care how good your players are, I don't care how fit they are, I don't care how much stamina they have.
You're going to
need to rest them. Tournament, you have a whole bunch of MLS players who are quality.
19 MLS players on this squad.
We're trying to find out who's going to be good at some positions of need, like striker. We haven't had a really good striker in a very, very long time. And so this rotation here, we're trying some new guys who haven't really gotten a lot of run, like Daryl DK is one of the men that he got a substitution in the second half here. Didn't really
From Orlando City.
Very, very promising guy. You know, we're trying to figure out our fullback situations, both right and left. We think Serginho Dest is going to lock down one of the spots, but we need someone else to play with him.
Sure do.
Our goalkeeper is pretty good, but our center backs also need some work. So really, that entire back line is sort of up in the air after John Brooks and Serginho Dest.
Honestly, yeah, it's still 2 positions.
And you have 2 spots that are completely 100% up in the air.
Yep.
So that's where this tournament is. Basically, you're going to see a whole bunch of different people play. It's not going to be, oh, this is our lineup, and, we're going to make a couple substitutions here and there. No, I fully expect to see us make massive substitutions game to game, at least here in this group stage for the first 3 matches, right? We just finished our first one. We got 2 more.
We use all 5 subs, yeah.
You pretty much know who's going to be going, but I really expect this very next match to see enormous lineup turnover, and I think that's actually a good thing.
I think so, too. It's like you say, it's all about creating that depth. And speaking of that, I mean, the fact that this is we pretty much have the same guy as our main standout person from this match, being that right back, Shaq Moore. He was everywhere today, number 20.
Oh, absolutely. Shaq Moore had a great game. You know, he was very good going forward. If you watch, he was the one overlapping on the right wing there and delivering crosses into the box.
Mm-hmm.
But more impressively, you're playing right back, so you're a defensive man, right?
Yep.
You need to get back and defend. He was very, very solid there, too.
And it's also very similar.
He had a very good match, too.
Yeah. And it's very similar to what Serginho Dest likes to do, too, which is always something that you want to see because, like we previously mentioned, that right fullback spot's practically going to be locked down by Serginho Dest, playing at Barcelona and everything. But with Shaq Moore coming in and looking like that in limited time, you know, as Serginho Dest's backup in a potential future, I really liked what I saw from him and the fact that he came up, put crosses into the box, you know, right there on the attacker's feet. And, yeah, it did not really give up much defense. Our other fullback in this match, the goal scorer, so.
Yeah, Sam Vines. Yeah. You know, here's where you and I differ a little bit is I tend to think that Sam Vines had actually a very good match when he was attacking. When he was going forward and the lines were broken and he was flying down that left wing, running at the right side of the Haitian defense, I thought he was excellent. I mean, he was the one that had the only goal of the match for us on Giannis Zardes just had a great contribution to that build-up.
It was an amazing back
He's the one who kicked the ball out to the right wing, and then he's the one that flicked it up to the back post waiting for a wide-open Sam Vines to just knock it in with his head. But Sam Vines, he had 3 or 4 really good crosses, but he was awful tracking back on defense.
It was at least 2 times I counted.
A wing back and a left winger. He just didn't have any interest at all in running all the way back to get on that back line and make sure the opposing right wingers would not be able to hurt us. And he was, based on what I saw and even based on what you saw, it was not good, y'all. It was not good.
It wasn't good. I caught him at least twice being out of position. And you know what? If it was a team, no disrespect to Haiti, but if it was a team better than Haiti, I'm pretty sure he would have given up at least 1, probably 2 goals, and we may not have gotten any points in this match. So, but that also has to do to this team not having that much chemistry because, like we said, it's a bunch of youngsters who haven't played together before. But definitely stock up for this match. Match number 1, Shaq Moore, and then also Walker Zimmerman, the center back.
Yes.
We're talking about a center back position being open alongside John Brooks. Walker Zimmerman really impressed us today.
Now, Walker Zimmerman also plays the same position as John Brooks, the left center back. But from what I saw with him, he does a lot of the same things that John Brooks likes to do.
Mm-hmm.
They like to have the ball at their feet. They're left foot dominant people, but is absolutely really up until this match back in our entire pool is he can hit that 45 to 50 yard diagonal ball from the left defensive center all the way out to the right wing. Or even when he's playing centrally, when the 3-back center, he can drive it all the way up the field to a Daryl DK who's posting up in a number 9 and knocking it down. Like, he was really impressive. And it wasn't just the aerial attack by him. He had that one goal we were talking about that we wound up scoring. He was the one that delivered the ball all the way to Giassi Zardes and 35 to 40 yards on the ground and put it on a dead sprint in stride to him. It was very impressive work from Walker Zimmerman.
And that brings me to my next question for you, which is just exactly how important it is for a center back to be creating chances like that, and what does it do for your offense, or at least your attacking?
Enormous, because in the 4-3-3, you're giving up an extra central midfielder because you're adding one more person on the wings up. You're trying to keep the defense stretched. But when you get pressed by the opposing defense, if they're also running a 3 up top at you in some different type of form, your center backs are crucial to your ability to break down that press. Because your fullbacks, your right and left back, are usually trying to push up the field depending on what side of the ball you have on, especially in Greg Berhalter's 4-3-3 holding, which means we run 1 defensive midfielder and 2 central midfielders. We don't have a number 10 role up there. We don't have a ball creator in the middle of the field. It's not a good comparison, but like a Lionel Messi, where it's you give him the ball and he can just spray it anywhere. But I mean, there's so many of those type of players. Giovanni Reina plays there sometimes. Christian Pulisic plays there sometimes. Yunus Musa plays there sometimes for us. Those are huge positions where you can give the ball and he can break down a couple guys or he can make the pass. But when you don't have that, and you're giving up that quality because, again, we're playing with backups, your center backs are huge because now you're able to break down. You're able to get past that initial line of defense, and sometimes you're even able to get by the second line of defense, and now you're making the opposing back line. Typically, they're slower players, especially in the middle of the field. You're making them defend immediately when they're not used to it.
Sure are.
It's huge. It's very crucial running this system that Berhalter does. It is absolutely paramount. And so that was great to see that he played basically the John Brooks role. It was very impressive.
It was great to see him play that. I mean, it's like I said, mentioned the one person that we identified as the one stock down player, Sebastian Lletget. Like, we don't know exactly what was going on. He looked like he was out of position a lot. He looked like he was not ready to receive a pass every single time that the ball was passed in his general direction. Like, he just did not have a good game playing that left midfielder role when he's usually more of a central midfielder. So, I mean, what do you expect to see from him going future? Do you expect him to be starting the next match, or what role do you really think that he will be better suited for? Because the left mid, that was giving him problems today.
Yeah. Berhalter seems to really, really like Sebastian Lletget. He plays for the LA Galaxy. He's been an MLS career guy for a long time. I believe he's like 31 or 32, so he's getting up there a little bit. But he was wearing the captain's armband, so clearly Berhalter trusts him.
He does.
Clearly he thinks that he's going to lead the team. It just was not a good match for him today.
No, it wasn't.
Like you said, I mean, and again, it comes down a little bit to the unfamiliarness. It's not even a word, but the unfamiliarity that this team
lack of
has
chemistry.
with each other. Where, Lletget's used to getting the ball in certain positions, but he doesn't quite have the quickness to be able to adjust to a pass that isn't perfect. Because I don't think it's his lack of understanding of the system. Because Burrow just called him up a lot in the last couple of years. He's
gotten quite a cap.
One of the few true mainstays on almost every single camp he's involved.
Yep.
Unless it's a European-only camp. But he didn't look like he was comfortable. He didn't look very sharp. And even when he was on the ball, there's a couple of things I could think of, like late in the match. I want to say it was like in the 74th, 75th minute, somewhere right around there.
It looked like he was thinking too much.
As the left center mid, he drives to the middle of the park, and there's no one around him. Playing the ball off to the right winger who's overlapping. Instead of playing it into the number 9 who's waiting for the ball between the two center backs, he dribbles about 4 or 5 times until he's all the way on the right side of the 18, and then plays a little short pass to the right winger who's had to almost stop his run, and now the defense is recovered. It's stuff like that where you can't even say you're not familiar with your players. It's stuff like that where you're like, what are you doing out there, man? Like, he didn't seem like he understood what the game plan was, and that's more concerning because he's your most experienced guy on this entire team.
If he's running that captain band, he's got to know what the heck is going on. It's like, being the captain, you have to let the game come to you. Like, for everyone out there, you have to let the game come to you. And just, he may have been thinking that, he's not doing enough. So he had to, try to overcompensate, make an extra skill move, an extra dribble. But it's just that there was really nothing going on. Like, there was no chemistry with other players with him. And he just looked out of position for the most part. And we were hoping he would get subbed off and another player would be brought on for him. But, it's like we said, Buchholzer he trusts him. He likes him out there. So let's just hope that he figures out what he did wrong, that he gets better chemistry with the players around him, gets a better understanding of where everyone is around him on the pitch. And because let's hope we don't see that again from him, because he literally looked like a lost puppy out there at times.
Yeah, I would imagine he's not. If he plays the next match, he's probably going to be a halftime sub if he starts, or he'll be, a 60-minute, 65th minute sub on if you're trying to hold on to a lead, or if you're just trying to inject a little bit of life. But I would really like to see Christian Roldan take his spot. He's a guy that
also plays for the Galaxy.
He's been called up. No, he plays for Seattle, actually.
He's with Seattle.
He's been the Sounders for a very long time. I want to say he's in his mid-20s. I don't think he's been called up very often. This might have been one of his only call-ups, too. So I'm very curious to see how he's going to do, because for Seattle, he is an absolute game changer. And again, this is a very MLS-dominant team.
Very.
So if you are an impact player for, I don't think this is too controversial to say, but the best MLS team over the last 10 years, they're most consistent anyway.
I mean, they're up there.
I would expect he's going to have a pretty good impact on this team. So I would look to see Christian Roldan steal some of those minutes from Leggett that he had today, because you're going to want your best players to be ready to go for Canada. And Canada's our 3rd game of the group stage. So this next one is really your only other chance to throw some unproven guys in there and see what they can do. So I wouldn't expect that Roldan's going to get in very much against Canada if he doesn't get in much against this next match.
Yep. And one thing that we did see in this match was the fact that we did go from the traditional starting 4-3-3 into a 2-striker formation. And that mainly had to do with Par Ariola going down in the 12th minute. And it was reported that he had right hamstring tightness. So we're not sure how long that's going to be keeping him out. We're not sure if that's really going to make a formation tactic change going forward. So, I mean, if we do stick with the 4-3-3, do you see Nicholas Gioacchini, my fault. Nicholas Gioacchini, do you see him overtaking that right mid / right winger role, or do you think that we'll go to a 2-striker top?
No, I believe we're going to stick with the 4-3-3. Buchholzer is basically installed that from a very early period, and we don't have much wingers depth on this one, but
nope, not this one.
Was the one that substituted for Ariola in the 12th minute.
He also got subbed off,
though. He struggled in the first half. Yeah, but he struggled in the first half. But coming out of the second,
I noticed that.
2 really, really nice chances. Sort of like a secondary break.
About that far away from the bar. Next one.
And then rips a shot that just misses the outside of the post, had the goalie beaten and everything. And about 15 minutes later or so, he gets basically the same shot from a little bit closer, beats the goalie again, but hits the post. So he got a little bit closer, but it was a very nice move from what you want to see on a left winger. It was decisive. It was, hey, this is what I want to do. He even did a little bit of a couple different step overs, right to left to right, before he cut onto his left foot and the second time. So he's got a little bit of that pizzazz that sort of makes the defender a little bit nervous when you're coming at him too.
The fact that he knows how to just...
I expect him to be the starter in the next match if Arriola is indeed injured and not able to play.
I think so too, and it was mainly because of the one move that I saw from him in the match on that shot that you mentioned that was just wide. Is he did such a phenomenal move out on the right wing of just playing with the fullback, making the fullback think he's going to go out wide, cuts it inside one touch, and just puts a rocket on his left foot that was just wide of the bar. That's something, honestly, you only see very experienced soccer players make a type of IQ move like that. Yes, the finish wasn't there this time, but that's something that it's a skill move. It's the idea of taking that shot, the fact that he could see it with his vision on the pitch. It really impressed me. Like he had his ups and downs, but that is something that I needed to make a note out of. That really impressed me, that one shot that he almost had.
Absolutely. I agree 100% with you. You know, I've sort of, looking at this whole roster, I've sort of broken it down to this is going to be the Jekyll and Hyde, the Helter Skelter, you know, the Bruce Banner and Hulk type team.
Yeah, it really is.
You're going to see moments of brilliance because even though this team is young, even though there's even though the majority of them are fringe national team players, man, they're starters. They play all the time. They are good unless they wouldn't even be in this Gold Cup.
I mean, they're still professional soccer players.
Who's very, very young. Guys like Daryl DK, who's exploding on the scene. Guys like Christian Roldan, who's been doing it for a long time. Guys like Busio, who just made his national team debut today in the number 6 role.
Oh, what a shot he had.
He unleashed a rocket of a right-footed shot from 20 to 20. He puts it in the top net, and there's no chance. I mean, it was incredible. You know, so, I mean, there's a lot of really good quality on this team. You're going to see that, again, go back and look at the build-up to our one goal. It was so quick. It was so decisive. It was so bang, 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 boom. Right back in. Because you got a wide open guy in the back post. It's like moments where you pass the ball and there's nobody near him because they thought they was going to be there. Well, you're going to get a lot of that. You're like, perfect example, right? We pressed almost this entire match. And we turned over Haiti over and over and over in the first half and even the beginning of the second half. But then Haiti makes an adjustment at about the 55th minute. They decided to start pressing us. And it completely threw this team out of sync. They had no idea what to do, it seemed. And it's not because you're not being coached. I mean, you know what to do in a press situation. But it's a different thing when all of a sudden you're in the flow of the game. You've been playing away for 55, almost 60 minutes, right? You're feeling good. You get chance after chance. And then all of a sudden, a team makes an adjustment, and now they start to get a little bit more physical with you too. They start knocking you down.
Flip the script on you.
Fouling you. You know, I mean, that's CONCACAF, guys. You know, I mean, like, it's a little bit different when the game gets taken to you, and they just didn't respond very well to it. So, you know, there's growing pains, but this is the type of tournament you want to see the young guys in. And even though I don't expect us to win, which I don't, I don't think we're even going to make the final, quite honestly, as much as it pains me to say. But the fact that you're going up against the best of the best, we've already Mexico, they're bringing their A squad, but Costa Rica's bringing their A squad, Honduras is bringing their A squad, Canada's bringing their A squad with
Alphonso Davies,
who's a superstar of a player. Yeah, I mean, Canada, it's just, there's so many good teams because every other team but the United States seeing this as this is our best opportunity, this is our best team. And so now we get to see what a team that's not as talented as their opponents are, what you're made of. How much do you want it? How tough are you going to be? How much are you going to fight through ugly games? How much are you going to grind out results when you're up 1-0 like this one?
That's so true. I mean,
this putting a ton of pressure on us in the last 15 minutes or so of this match.
This is really where it's, this tournament with these players is really all about tackling the mentality and how mentally strong our players, our American soccer players are, at least with the people trying to fight for a main roster spot on this U.S. men's national team. Like it's going to really bring out hopefully the best in them, and they'll just keep getting better. But yeah, it's like you said, I'm not expecting us to win this tournament either, If we make the semifinals, I'll be happy. We make the finals, I'll be thrilled. We win it all, I'll be absolutely I'll be ecstatic. I'll be jumping up and down, running up and down, I-4. Oh my goodness, I will be so happy if we win this because, yeah, the fact that all these other teams are sending out their A squad, their A+ squads, and we're not. And if we could somehow still show up and win the tournament or at least make the Final Four in the semifinals, that would be a huge bonus. That would be such a big step forward considering on how far we were in taking a step back by not qualifying and how far we have come since not being able to qualify. It will really be a big statement for us, and even more so, just as big as a statement as it was us winning that National League with Pulisic hitting that penalty shot in extra time. It's a statement saying U.S. Soccer, we're for real. We're taking it seriously now. So I mean, it's definitely something we have to prove and something to look forward to. But yeah, everyone, don't get your hopes up on winning this whole tournament. Be happy. Be absolutely ecstatic if we win this tournament because we're definitely not favored to.
No, I mean, and if somehow we do win the tournament, that means you would have almost assuredly beaten a Mexico and a Costa Rica or a Honduras. And there's actually a scenario in this one that we would have beaten Canada, Honduras, Costa Rica, and Mexico. If you finish second, actually, no, that's not true. So if you finish second in our group, that means you would have lost to Canada, most likely, but you would have had to face Costa Rica in the quarters. You would have had to face Mexico in the semis, and almost assuredly Honduras or Canada again in the finals. So you would have beaten the best of the best, throwing out their best squad possible against you.
And that just feels so good.
I don't expect it. Even if we win our group, that means we face Honduras in the quarters, and then we're going to face Costa Rica in the semis, and then we will face Mexico in the finals. So either way you cut it, if you win this, you're running through excellent competition.
Top of the CONCACAF.
Non-star player.
If you're still beating the best teams in CONCACAF, your best squad, that's really good. So anyways, the last couple things to get to. We did touch on the fact fits. Do you think that will continue to give us fits in the matches going forward? And also, Sam Vine's defense. Man, he better not be doing that again because, yeah, his defensive play was bad. He was good at attacking, but it was bad. But anyways, what do you think the press is going to be doing against us? How we're going to be attacking it moving forward?
Yeah, I think that's going to be something we're going to see a lot of in the next match. I don't know anything about Martinique. And again, if that's not the team we're facing, I apologize. But I expect that it's going to happen because, like we've said many, many times, we're young, we're inexperienced. And the best way to rattle an inexperienced team is put them under pressure. So I fully expect to see a lot of that. And yes, I think it's going to be a problem with us as far as we go in this tournament. I don't think that's something you can just fix in a matter of games. I think that's something that takes months and maybe sometimes years, depending on how often you're together practicing, to be able to fix. And if you want a perfect example, if you didn't see the European final today against England and Italy, Italy
the Euro
was masters at dealing with England's high press.
Sure
Watch
were.
that match. Cool, even when the ball went back to the goalkeeper and just slowly laying it off within about a foot of an oncoming England guy to their center back who's picking the ball up with his back to the opposing, attackers, and he just calmly turns and then sprays it out wide right before he gets crunch tackled. That's not something you just learn over a couple of weeks, guys. So, yeah, it just is. We're going to have really bad turnovers. But sometimes with a young team, they don't know that they should be nervous. They don't know that they're in a lot of trouble when they really are. And so sometimes they just pass the ball anyway, not knowing it's a bad pass, and it goes through. And then all of a sudden you have a moment of brilliance. So
it's like you said, it's going to be a lot of Jekyll and Hyde. It's going to be a lot of that going forward, but hopefully it won't be as much going forward because hopefully we'll be building team chemistry throughout this tournament, and hopefully it'll be a deep tournament run. But like mentioned, semifinal is really the goal, the realistic goal, would you say?
Absolutely. If you make the semifinals, I think you can walk away. As long as you don't lose, 3-0 against Mexico if you face them, or you don't lose.
Yeah, I mean, no one wants to do that.
3-0 against Costa Rica. Like, okay, then you look at it, you're like, okay, guys, you just got blown out, right? You never want to get blown out, but
nope.
Yeah, if you're able to make it to the Final Four of this competition, yeah, I think you can walk away feeling comfortable with the result. I don't think satisfied is good, because you're never happy losing in the semis.
No one likes to lose. I mean, let's just be honest here.
But I think everyone understands, or I hope everyone understands that's been following this team, that this team is not constructed to win. This team is constructed to find players that can help you in World Cup qualifying.
Identify
That's really what this
the
team's
talent.
all about.
We're just looking to identify the top talent right now, and you know what? This is a great tournament in order to do so, because it's like you said, all the European stars that we have are unavailable for it. So, I mean, why not just throw out a youngster squad? But anyways, thank you so much, Imperial Spy. I appreciate you being subscribed ever since my rant and our loss to Trinidad and Tobago. Oh, my goodness. That was an epic rant, man. Anyways, y'all go ahead. If you like this video, go ahead, hit thumbs up. You subscribe. Go ahead, subscribe. Turn on bell notifications, because I will be doing a live stream for every single one of our post-match Gold Cup matches in this upcoming tournament. And then also, that's something that I would like to be doing moving forward for World Cup qualifying as well. So y'all go ahead, let me know if it's something you want to see. Let's go ahead and thank my brother for tuning in on with me to talk some soccer. Like I said, he is more the expertise when it comes to soccer. He cares about it more than I do. I won't lie. He followed it throughout the times where we didn't qualify and I lost my soccer heart. But guess what? Found my soccer heart back. So there's going to be a lot more USA men's national team footage on this channel for everyone. So KJ3 signing off. Hope everyone has a great night, and go USA.